Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the ESL R1 Runners-Up live stream. Today we're gonna have an exciting race with 12 of the best drivers in the open, on the closed beta of RENNSPORT. And we are right now in qualifying with the first car going, this one being Martin McGurley. But I'm not alone today, because I'm accompanied by the beautiful Mr. Remco Major.
Hello, I wouldn't call myself beautiful, but thank you anyways.
So, this is a new thing for the ESL R1 Championship that they implemented for this season, which will be the third one, the third iteration of ESL R1, because in this one, the community can actually take part. So, if you're not one of the lucky 48 drivers to be in ESL R1, you can try your best and push your luck in this competition, which you can qualify on Wednesday in a timed session, pretty much like a shootout qualifying session. But if you qualify and you join us today on Thursdays for this race, you can collect points and collect some prizes in the end, which will be announced later on in the Discord. Of course, this one is broadcasted on the RENNSPORT channels, and the ESL R1 races tomorrow and on Saturday will be broadcast on ESL R1 channels. But enough talk about all that, because right now we are in qualifying and we can already see a couple of drivers going, as we see Joachim Thunder making his way through the first horseshoe. And Remco, you've know the names of the people and you've definitely raced some of the people that are in this server today. Who are your favorite picks?
I even raced with some people here, like Alejandro Ottaviani, a great driver that is, great character as well. But right now, Martin McGurley is putting a banker like the 144.9, which is quite quick around here. But I think, Nico Nuninghoff is up there. We know him. He's going, he would definitely be at the top. He has the most experience in RENNSPORT at this moment, I think. Definitely for community stuff. So I think he is going to put down something interesting here. Right now, though, it's Gael Valero. Also, quite a lot of AMGs by the looks of things. Because everyone can choose any car they want. And before it was the Porsche that everyone chose. After the 1.8.3 update, there were new physics for the GT3 cars, which actually meant that some people, that changed car, that went away from the Porsche, and looks like AMG, which was not driven at any moment before, is right now quite popular, just like the R8. And it looks like more people are going to finish line. I think Joachim Thunder made a mistake somewhere, got a track cut or anything, a slowdown at least, because he's 1.5 seconds off with a 1:47.0. As Brennan Loudon is doing a 1:46.5. I mean, it is a tough track, definitely with the track limits here. As we know, Daytona has that very interesting bus stop chicane. And in that bus stop chicane, it will, if you go and hit one of those cones that's right alongside the track, you will actually get a slowdown, and that will cost so much time because you will be slow onto the last oval bit and you'll be so many seconds down. But yeah, 5 people set a time right now. It's Nico Nuninghoff, as I said. He is at the top right now with a 1:44.5, which is really quick around here. Definitely with his new physics. Mind you, these new physics, the cars are much harder to drive. When you're on the limit, you are on the limit. You go over the limit, good luck catching that car. Because it's not as simple like counter steering, you're straight again. No, you will have to work to keep it straight. And that might also be what happened to, for example, Joachim Thunder. It doesn't necessarily have to be a track cut. If you oversteer and you start sliding, you will catch the car, but you will lose time when you do that. Right now it's Ottaviani also on a lap. It will be interesting to see what he will do.
I think Ottaviani is definitely the one to keep an eye on here. He is a very experienced race car driver. He is very fast across many different platforms. And I think he's already proven him in RENNSPORT as well. But now seeing him in the BMW, we still have all 3 BMWs on their way. Which also includes Johnny Catila, who you might know from ESL R1 actually. As well as Tim Schroeder, who had some great performances in the weekly RCE and RCL events. Which we will also talk later on in the stream. But they are 3 heavy hitters to still come. And also Dominik Ladler is still on his lap, or just finished his lap, but only 1.7 seconds to Nico Nunninghoff.
I mean, the field is quite a lot closer than what we are used to in the community events. So this is going definitely to be interesting in the race, because at Daytona you can draft, and that draft is really powerful around here. And I think that Alejandro Ottaviani in P3 could actually, in the second lap, if he's still in P3 by then, he could actually like overtake 2 people if he gets the drafting right.
Indeed, Daytona, very draft-heavy track. We had so many examples of this last season, also in the second of the RENNSPORT community events, where you have to just stay in the draft to be in a shot for contention and do a move on the pretty much last lap of the race. As we now see, Johnny Catila finished his lap, and he puts it down in second.
P2, still, there's quite a gap to Nico Nunninghoff. That's almost 3/10, so that's much larger than we've seen even in the pre-qualifying.
Yeah, indeed. As you can see in the pre-qualifying results, there was a bit of a spread, but of course, as a pre-qualifying, not too much time to practice before, and then a pretty short session in itself. For this one, people might have put down some more laps, as we still wait for Mark Edmondson and Tim Schroeder to put in their respective lap times. The format, by the way, being identical to the original ESL R1 format, so all drivers put in 1 valid lap, or try to put in 1 valid lap, which is flying. They don't see each other on the racetrack. This is for the broadcast only, which is a very nice feature. But for the drivers, of course, this means it's a very different approach to the qualifying as they used to, because so far in the closed beta events,
Tim Schroeder just went over the line as the last drive with a 146 zeros, and he's in 8th place. So that's also very strong of him. He's not doing this for very long yet, which is an interesting fact. He is very new to wheel-to-wheel racing, but he definitely has some interesting pace.
Yeah, indeed. He's already proven himself in a couple of leagues and events, as we said previously. As we now enter a short practice session for the drivers to get ready for the race.
Indeed, you just go warm up things. Right now, they've only done qualifying. They did pre-quali, and then in the qualifying, in those sessions, you push for the outright limit. In the race, it's going to be a little bit different. You will start heating up tires. You will actually wear the tires. And if you lock up, you will get flat spots and stuff. So you will have to approach this a little bit differently, because you will need to drive those tires for longer. Also, you'll be fighting with people. So, you know, if you make a mistake here, it's going to be like, you will be ending up at the rear of the field, definitely if you do it at the start, because it's quite hard to catch these cars right now if you go too hard into turns and stuff. But we'll see how they will handle this. But it's only 1.5 minutes, so they just can get like used to the different braking points if they have those. And but I don't think it will be too hard for these drivers, because they are quick, and even though not all just as experienced, they can still like adapt to different sessions very well.
Yeah, and of course also like in Daytona, we have a 9-lap race. 9 laps is about 15 minutes. If you do a costly mistake, it's hard to catch up with this level of competition. On the other hand, the draft is also something that can allow you to recover from some certain mistakes. If you mess up bus stop for a bit and lose 1 or 2 tenths, it's not the world, because on the long straight or the section of the tri-oval afterwards, you will make that back up. And that's, of course, a great thing about this track. On the other hand, if you're the defending driver, it isn't really in your favor. So you also see Yuri Kastorp in the chat, which is very nice to see. Of course, one of the mouse presenters.
Another Dutchie.
Indeed. And now we get ready for the race.
Yeah, but they will do a rolling start here around Daytona. Of course, last update introduced some change to the rolling start. There's actually a graphical interface right now for the start, which makes it much easier for the drivers to know where they should be, where they, I mean, if they have to leave space or not, if they are on the wrong side, and
the safety car.
And of course, the beautiful Mission R safety car, as you say. It's an electric car. It's really quick. You can drive it in RENNSPORT as well. So if you've got a close beta key, always make sure to try that one out. Definitely in time trials. But right now they are starting to roll away, and I mean that they should be told right now what they have to do. So it's going to be interesting to see how this rolling start is going to go.
Indeed, as we see Mercedes, BMW alongside Mercedes and BMW on the first 2 rows. They're both looking very strong. Nico Nüninghoff on the left, Johnny Catilla on the right.
So the right lane, I know, has to stay behind the leader. So for Johnny Catilla, and the pace car is right now going into the pits. Right around here, they will get a green flag. And it looks like they have a green flag.
And Nico Nüninghoff had a good jump. It's one of the BMWs. It's Ottaviani looking down the inside of Catilla there for turn 1. Can he actually manage it to hold it tight on the inside? And he does so. Ottaviani up into P2.
That is a very good move around the inside. And now it's going to be a setup for the oval part. In the back there are 2 Mercedes fighting, Danny Wisner and Gael Valero. And they're going side by side.
A bit of contact there as well, further behind between Alex Mosen and Mark Edmondson. Edmondson taking 9th place. But Nico Nüninghoff up front, leading the way now onto the oval. So 2 BMWs in behind.
Exactly. Now this is the trivial part. This is the oval part up into the bus stop. If you get the bus stop right and you get a good run, you are in for a move into turn 1 or even before turn 1. But are there people gonna try to overtake before or even into the bus stop? Wait, do I see a little bit of bum drafting there?
Yeah, there was a bit of... Oh, my voice.
I don't think the bum drafting is allowed, actually.
That's a hot topic, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like Ottaviani has actually a worse bus stop than Nico Nüninghoff. But the draft is powerful. Look at that. He pulls Johnny Catilla with him as well. He's staying behind. Behind. Okay, that's an interesting strategy. He's gonna pull to the outside now. Is he gonna try an outside move? What is he trying to do? Oh, is he trying to block up Johnny Catilla for making a move? No, he's gonna slot in behind. That is interesting. Is he going to try around the outside? No, that's not going to happen. You need to be way more alongside to try that. But look at P4. Martin Margurley is right behind him.
Has a look down the inside. But it also looks like Ottaviani is just trying to figure out how to overtake here. Not in the way that he doesn't know how to. Of course, Ottaviani knows how to overtake. As we see Ladla further behind, being side by side with another BMW. This one being driven by Tim Schroeder. But I think he might just want to try out how big the slipstream effect is actually in the train.
I mean, I think he knows right now that the slipstream is effective enough to do an overtake in the last lap towards the line. If he's going to do that, it is going to be close. But it is possible. So right now it looks like the top 6 has actually broken away from the rest of the field. So the top half of the field, it's literally split in half, this field. That's interesting. But it does mean that Mark Edmondson doesn't have the draft in front anymore. So if Tim Schroeder wants to make moves, he has to do it now.
And he is going side by side with Lala into the bus stop.
And he is going straight, and he needs to give back the position. Actually, very nice from the cut the chicane twice. Gives him another track cut though, but it does avoid a crash, which is like fair to do. As I said, Tim is quite new to wheel battling, and it looks like it's gonna get interesting for the lead. Look at those moves. Look how close, how clean is that? And is he actually holding back around the outside? I mean, it definitely looked like he had a lot more overspeed, but he didn't take that opportunity. He's actually trying to keep P2 right now. And is he gonna lose that position? No, he's on the inside. He's on the inside, which means that it's easier for him to keep it there. But around the outside, Katila, that is beautiful. Around the hairpin, there's right now a small... Oh, that is close. He cut in right in front of him. Look how close that is. That is beautiful. Right now, into this hairpin, is he gonna... It's gonna... I mean, they're gonna take it. Oh, that's what I mean. That's what I mean with the oversteer. Looks like Ottaviani has oversteer. And that means that he is slowed down a lot, which actually broke the draft towards Nico Nunninghoff. Is this the breakaway that Nico Nunninghoff needed?
It's a 1.2 second gap. That's more than enough to completely break the toe in these GT3 cars. And this is now a huge advantage to the German.
Yeah, that is a very good drive from Nico Nunninghoff. It was a strategy from Ottaviani to stay behind. And look at that, into the bus stop. Is he going to keep it on the inside though? He is going to keep it within the cones. And that is a very good move. And oh my god, this is going to get very interesting if it keeps going like this. Because the strategy that Ottaviani and Wisner tried to stay behind Nico Nunninghoff backfired on them. And right now Nico Nunninghoff's running away with it. Indeed,
he's well, lucky third. I'm not sure if you can say lucky third because he was in first place all along. So far he's driving a fantastic race. But for Ottaviani, of course, he got second place now, but he also lost the toe to the car in front. Is it race breaking? Not necessarily. He still has a lot of pace. But on the other hand, it's also a big risk as he goes side by side again with the Wisner. They're through the chicane and now into the first of the two horseshoes, and also the drive of Katila.
I thought he was gonna make it through wider. He was looking for it, but it's not happening. But just as I said about the oversteer, you
big contact.
Really have. Who made contact?
There was a big contact between Katila and Wisner, both just trying to go for the opposite side, and again contact further behind.
Another yeah, that's the two AMGs, Martin McGurley and Valero, actually making contact under brake in front to rear. But with this netcode, that is not really a problem. Oh, and it's contact again. How are they driving like this? Is the damage actually enabled on this?
Damage seems like it's disabled, as if it was enabled, you would definitely notice it at this stage in the race. Of course, RENNSPORT already having implemented the damage model V2, which you can all check out in the Discord. But of course, this helped the BMWs now. They have a bit of a gap to the AMGs behind, Ottaviani and Katila, but they still have a 1.9 second gap to Nico Nunninghoff. And Nico Nunninghoff has shown that he's masterclass at this track in the second RCE.
I'm gonna tell you something. Last lap was a 144.8 from Nico Nunninghoff, and because of the battling, Ottaviani did a 146.0. That is a lot of time lost. When previous lap it was 1.1 to 1 second, that gap. So they might have gotten a little bit at the rear end of the draft, but right now that is definitely gone. This is, I mean, it's going up to 2 seconds even. That is not something you're gonna get back within 7.5 minutes of racing when you've got people behind you pushing and trying to overtake you as well. Even on a track like Daytona, where you can overtake without like having to outbrake someone, but just on a straight width draft, it will still slow you down.
Indeed, and if you like what you're seeing here, if you want to be part of this whole thing and have RENNSPORT access, or in general a closed beta key, make sure to check out the Discord for the Leagues and Events channel. And join the RENNSPORT community leagues and events, or one of the many community leagues we have running right now. Because tomorrow, for example, you will have another broadcast on the RENNSPORT channel with the 5th round of the RENNSPORT Community League, which will be at Monza, which is, of course, the Temple of Speed, action guaranteed. And you'll see similar drafting action as you see in here, as now Wisner again goes to the inside of Katila, a bit of contact there through bus stop. But Katila defends for 3rd place.
How do you go too wide into the bus stop and not spin out? That is a really hard thing to do. But he has a very slow speed onto the oval section. And right now, that means that there are 2 other Mercedes AMGs that want to overtake him. Do I see more bump drafting here? It looks like we are. This is interesting what race control wants to do with this. Because as far as I know, bump drafting is not allowed in R1.
But can you even identify it as 3 different AMGs if they're that close together? Or is it just one?
It's just one large AMG.
It's at this stage. But of course you see it works, as they are now very close to Katila again.
Yes, but this is going to be interesting to see what is going to happen with this. Going further back, by the way, Tim Schroeder is at the back of the field. He qualified P7, I think, so he must have made a mistake somewhere. It's interesting to hear after the race from him what the incident was, or if he maybe had a spin. I know from the community events he has trouble keeping it in a straight line sometimes. And he sometimes overheats the tires, because that's something you can definitely do here. If you start overdriving, definitely at the start of the race when you had Ottaviani and Katila, the BMWs, and one of them had it oversteer. It takes a turn or 2 before the tires are back down to a normal operating temperature range. What I do have to say, by the way, Alessandro Ottaviani is doing a 1:44.7, whilst Nico is doing a 44.5 last lap. But looks like Attila is losing a position here into the bus stop. Now it's another AMG in front of Katila.
But that was a beautiful move as well by Wisner. Just instead of trying it around the inside, as in the last 2 laps, he just ran around the outside and kind of surprised Katila with it.
I mean, if you're around the outside, if you're far enough in front, you know that the other guy who is on the inside has to slow down to go. Oh, it's Valero alongside. They are making contact with McGurgley. And McGurgley is just... Is he gonna keep it? He looks like he is.
No, that's Joe Valero up into 5th position.
Yeah. We need custom liveries. I'm gonna say it here right now. It's way too hard to keep them apart right now. We're trying our best though, but it is amazing to see the side-by-side race. They can make contact and it's not really a problem. At least if it's not too hard of a contact, because you can definitely spin each other out if you want to. That was a beautiful move. Textbook.
Indeed, and of course, look at the timings now, because Ottaviani, 1.4 seconds to Wisner. So he's checked out of it, maybe able to secure 2nd place already with this. But Katila is in a prime slipstream range now from Daniel Wisner.
Exactly, let's see what he can do. There is of course the bus stop chicane coming up. And it is Wisner going to try to break the draft. It looks like he keeps the car low in the middle of the track, so you can't really put it alongside. Looks like behind them they are close together as well with the 2 AMGs, but there is no move going on there. I think they start to realize that if they start fighting, they will lose contact to the cars in front, and they do not want that. It's interesting tactics. So, I mean, this is pretty much like Daytona NASCAR style racing. You don't want to start battling, you want to work together to get up to the front.
Talking about working together, Katila gave Wisner a massive bump draft down the main straight.
Oh, that's interesting. But towards the end of the race, they are not your friends anymore. So
of course, but you just gained both of them 2/10 in just a short amount of time. That's insane.
But that's still only 1/10 quicker than Nico Nuninov. It's insane how quick and consistent Nico Nuninov is driving right now. He did do a track cut last time because his last lap was a 1:44.4, whilst his best lap time is still 1:44.5. So his lap time did not count. He is pushing, and he will like stack up these points. And if he gets too many, he will get a drive-through. If you get a drive-through, trust me, your race is done because everything is still so close, even though there's a little bit of a larger field spread. Tim Schroeder, by the way, is 11, so he is getting back positions. It's Alex Mosin he overtook. Actually, one of 2 Audis there. And Jochen Thunder is in the other Audi. So that's like the bottom end of the field right now. It looks like they've had some troubles because there's like 6 seconds in between them or 3 seconds in front of them. Dominic Latler, I haven't really seen much of Latler at this moment, but it looks like he's keeping his stuff together.
He's driving a very
right
solid
now.
race, if you want to say so.
Yeah.
It's a very lonely one, maybe, but he's driving a solid one.
A solid, lonely race with a lonely Porsche. So, yeah. And it's Godzilla in front. Are they are still bump drafting. Oh, this is interesting. They really want to get up to the front. 40 minutes have passed, and this is the last lap.
Indeed, no.
So
maybe we see what we've seen in ESL R1 Season 2 with Joshua Rogers, for example, being passed by one of the AMD factory cars right to the line, because Kartila is pretty much setting up for this very moment. And what he did by bump drafting with Vishnu there for the last couple of laps, look at the 2 MGs as that's one of the MGs round and a DNF for Margurli.
Oh, Margurli, what happened there? Did he have a crash?
He just contacted with Valero and went round, and in that moment, maybe out of habit.
Looks like he gave up, but it looks like right now Nico Nuninov has got this in the bag. Alejandro Ottaviani only 9/10 ahead, by the way. That's not that large. If he makes a mistake in the bus stop, it's still open for P2. But I doubt he will. He's experienced enough. He knows what he's doing. But behind, it's going to be interesting. Who's going to take the last podium spot? Wait,
I mean, of course, this is also important for Kartila, because if Ottaviani is only 8/10 in front of the Mercedes in front, well, there is a bit of slipstream to be gained.
Oh, here we go. Last part. It looks like Nico Nuninov is going to take the win. He is into the last part of the oval, going towards the tri-oval after this short straight, and then go across the finish line. Oh, and also it looks like it's gonna be interesting for P3 right now. It's Nico Nuninov across the line. P2 is going to be Alejandro Ottaviani, and oh my, that was close, but it is Joni Kartila who takes the last podium spot. That was beautifully done. Beautifully raced up to the line. Wow, it can't get any more closer than this. I can't wait for tomorrow for the actual ESL R1.
Indeed, it was beautifully set up by Kartila. Not to forget that he did that across the last few laps, worked for this. But what a finish. It's only 300 in between the 2 of them. So now the last people come across the line to finish their race. Alex Mosin in 11th. Not the best race for him.
You know what's interesting? Because Kartila and Wisner started bump drafting, Valero could not catch them and actually started losing ground to them. So it's really interesting to see what the race direction will say about the bump drafting. But it made for a very interesting race, very tactical. You needed friends, but in the end, they are not your friends because you want to win. And Kartila showed how to do that.
Indeed, and this, not to mention or not to forget to mention it, this wasn't the only race of the series. We will have many more across the ESL R1 season. Every ESL R1 round is accompanied by one of those events, which is very nice, I think, because it also gives the community a chance to be part of this big sim racing tournament, basically. And also, you will see some highlights maybe tomorrow. So definitely make sure to tune in for that. And next time will be in 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. So keep your eyes on for round number 2. Take your chance to qualify. And if you don't really see yourself in ESL R1 or in the ESL R1 Runners Up series, make sure to check out the community leagues, the RENNSPORT community league, for example, also the TRL, KCG, or SHR leagues, which you can all find on the Discord or in-game or through the app. Many ways you can get to those competitions. And if you have any further questions, let us know in the Discord, in the live chat. This was RENNSPORT presenting the runners-up race, round number 1. And we see you next time. Until then, goodbye.
Goodbye.